Welcome to another deep dive, and tonight we're tackling a question that I'm sure has crossed your mind once or twice, especially around 3 areas when sleep just won't come. Can essential oils really help you sleep better? You guys sent over some interesting stuff for this one, including this guide called Snooze Like a Sloth. Love the title, by the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to break it all down for you, see if these fragrant little bottles are the secret to waking up refreshed.
And you know what I find fascinating about this whole thing is how Snooze, like a sloth, this guide you mentioned,
Yeah.
how it approaches the whole topic. It's fun, it's playful, but it still, dives into specifics about different oils and their supposed benefits. So we look at not just the claims themselves, but also how those claims are presented, to really grab your attention, which is interesting given your line of work, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always curious how marketing makes things sound appealing. But in this case, do they actually deliver? They start off pretty strong, calling lavender oil like the OG of sleep scents. They even compare it to like nature's Ambien, which is a bold move.
It is bold, and while it's important to be careful about, overselling things, there actually is some research on lavender and sleep. Studies show that it might actually promote relaxation and calm the nervous system, potentially making it easier to fall asleep.
So not like a sleeping pill that knocks you out cold, but more like something that nudges you towards a more peaceful state.
Exactly. Think of it this way. You come home after a long day, and that scent of lavender helps you just let go of some tension. It's about setting the stage for sleep, not forcing it.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about people who aren't exactly fans of lavender? Any other options out there for them in the sleep department?
Oh, absolutely snooze, like a sloth. They actually suggest several other oils, and they even talk about blending your own. They mentioned bergamot, which has this lovely citrusy aroma, and then there's clary sage, which has a warm, almost spicy kind of scent.
Ooh, clary sage. That sounds interesting. Anything else?
Yes. They also highlight Roman chamomile and ylang-ylang. They even provide a specific recipe to blend them.
Hold on, a recipe. Now you're speaking my language. I love this idea of like crafting my own sleep-inducing aroma.
Yeah.
This is starting to sound like a delicious smelling science experiment.
It really is. And this whole DIY approach, I think it speaks to this larger trend we're seeing of people wanting personalized experiences for everything, even something like sleep. But it also highlights how important it is to use high-quality oils from sources you trust, especially if you're mixing your own blends.
Good point. You definitely don't want to accidentally ruin your sleep trying to improve it. But speaking of improving sleep, the guide mentions different ways to actually use these oils, diffusing the massage, even adding a few drops to your lotion or bath. It all sounds so simple and luxurious.
There's definitely an element of, hey, this is easy to incorporate, which is encouraging when you're struggling with sleep. But here's the thing, effectiveness can be different for everyone. What works wonders for one person might do absolutely nothing for another. It's about finding what works for you.
Kind of like how some people need white noise to sleep while others need total silence.
Perfect analogy. And that's where experimenting comes in. Don't be afraid to try different oils, different methods until you figure out what helps you the most.
Okay, so experimenting is key, but let's talk about the science for a sec. The guide does mention some studies, but I'm curious to like dig a little deeper. How much evidence is there really to back up these claims about essential oils and sleep?
Yeah, that's where things get interesting. The guide does touch on some scientific backing, for sure, but we always want to, approach these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism.
So maybe not taking that nature's Ambien thing about lavender so literally.
Yeah, right. Some studies do suggest a possible link between certain essential oils like lavender and better sleep, but we need more research to say anything for sure.
It's more like essential oils might be part of the equation, not a magic cure-all on their own. Which actually reminds me, the guide mentions valerian root oil briefly, claiming it can help you fall asleep faster. What's the deal with that one?
Valerian root is interesting because people have used it as a sleep aid for centuries, way before we had essential oils. And there's some research suggesting that valerian root might actually increase GABA production in the brain.
GABA. Now, that sounds familiar. Isn't that a neurotransmitter? The one that helps us relax and, sleep.
That's the one. GABA is known for its calming effects on the nervous system. So, in theory, if something boosts your GABA levels, it could make you drowsy and help you fall asleep. But again, more research is needed to confirm if that's actually what's happening with valerian root.
It's like that saying, more research is needed, is the scientific motto.
Pretty much. But that's the nature of scientific inquiry.
Hmm.
And it's important to remember that good sleep is often a multifaceted thing. Essential oils might be one factor, but there are other things too, like managing stress, diet, exercise, even just having a comfy sleep environment.
So it's more about creating a whole ecosystem for good sleep, not just masking the problem with a nice smell.
Exactly. And that's where I think the guide's focus on making essential oils part of a relaxing bedtime routine is really smart.
Yeah.
Even if the oils themselves have a subtle effect, just the act of taking that time for self-care, like a warm bath with some essential oil, a gentle massage, or even just diffusing a calming scent, that can be really beneficial in itself.
It's like sending a signal to your mind and body. Okay, time to wind down now.
Exactly. It's about creating a ritual that helps you transition from like the busyness of the day to a more relaxed state. And that alone can do wonders for your sleep.
Creating a ritual,
Yeah.
I like that. It's like setting the stage for sleep. But, this is a deep dive, so we got to end with our signature final thought, something to really get you thinking even more about this whole thing.
You're right. We've covered a lot of ground here, talking about how essential oils might be helpful, the science behind those claims, and how important it is to think holistically about sleep. You know, not just a quick fix.
Right. But there's one more piece of the puzzle I think we should at least touch on, the placebo effect.
Well, that's a good way. So you're saying our beliefs could actually influence our experience. Like if you believe an oil will help you sleep, could that belief itself actually lead to a better night's rest?
Exactly. That mind-body connection is a powerful thing. So even if the science isn't totally clear on a particular oil, the simple act of making it part of your routine with intention, with a positive mindset, that in itself could make a difference.
That is so important for our listeners to keep in mind. It's not just about the oils themselves, but the power of our own thoughts when it comes to sleep.
It really makes you wonder, beyond these blends and tips from Snooze like a Sloth, how much of a role do our own expectations play in how well we sleep? That's something to sleep on. Figuratively, of course. We don't want you nodding off just yet.
Definitely not. But hopefully this deep dive gives you some new things to try out in your own quest for better sleep.
Absolutely. And on that note, sweet dreams, everybody.